Welcome back. Detroit has defeated Minnesota 3-0, so this series is now 3-2 in favor of the North Stars. Remember, last year in round number 1 when they knocked off Chicago, they did it in 6 games as well. They're underway at the Pacific Coliseum, Winnipeg and Vancouver. Of course, the Winnipeg Jets trying to wrap that series up. They lead it 3-1. Meanwhile, at Chicago Stadium, the Blues lead the Blackhawks to score 3-2 in period number 2. We take you out to Chicago Stadium.
Was trying to get to the front of the net. Matteau lost possession. Lowry didn't see it, and he took Noonan down. I think Lowry thought it was a 2-on-1 situation. He thought Matteau had open ice to give it to Noonan, but he yanks him down, and the Blackhawks will go to the power play once again, looking to tie it up.
In the Blues zone, Chelios held it into Matteau in the corner. Matteau skates in, trying to center one. It deflects back to the near board. Wilson there. Didn't get it past Chelios. Now Larmer at the line. Takes the shot, takes a look. Now lets it go. He scores! Steve Larmer! A long-range rocket by the glove of Joseph. And what a job by Matteau to screen the goaltender. And the Blackhawks have tied the game at 3.
What a job by Larmer, though, to wait. Kept his composure at the line. He faked once, saw a guy come to him, so he drifted away. And as he drifted away, and we've said it before, not very many guys can let this shot go. He waited, faked the pass to the defenseman. Only one guy on him, and he let it go.
Steve Larmer with 2 goals tonight. And the Hawks come through on the power play to tie the game at 3.
Scored by number 28, Steve Larmer. Assisted by number 32, Stefan Matteau, and number 7, Chris.
Matteau and Chelios get the assist at 10:54, and we're even at 3. Here's Chelios in the Blues zone. Took a bump, and the Blues come up with it. Ron Sutter with a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Sutter over the line to Brown. He fired it wide. Rebound to Chelios. Able to clear it to center, and Lemieux puts it into the Blues zone. Joseph clearing it himself the other way.
It's a good thing that shot didn't hit the net, because it's 4-3 St. Louis. Belfour missed it.
And now as Bassett moves in, the Blues ruled to be offside on the play.
Ron Sutter carried that puck in, made a good play, dropped it at the line, took the defenseman, and Jeff Brown let it rip and just missed. Ron Sutter's had a terrific series, though he didn't have great numbers in Game 4 where he was -3, but tonight he's looking for someone to check. He's always involved. He takes the body on Graham. Most of the series have been matched up against Jeremy Roenick, but he's trying to find Roenick here in the second period. You better look to your left, Ronnie. He hasn't moved off the bench. He's been in the same spot for 11:33 of the second period.
Hudson, Lauer, and Peluso against Janney, Bozan, and Shanahan. And the draw bouncing to the Blues line. Butcher there. Now Hedekin in his own end. Around to the far side, and Shanahan. Shanahan long feed to Bozan. He's upended by Marchment, who knocked him off the puck at center. It trickles back into the Hawk zone, and Belfour goes down to smother it. There's a gathering in behind the goal, but everybody thinks better of it and backs off. The game tied here at 3.
The Lexus LS400 has an extremely effective electronic security system. While it may look rather simple to you, to a car thief, it looks something like this.
When you're flying north, fly with a leader. Fly the airline that leads the way to Canada, with more flights to more cities. With more service and more hospitality, even more legroom. On the only business class to more of Canada. Air Canada. It's a welcome departure.
He must have heard the good news. Molson's 35-year history with the NHL is going to continue. Molson, bringing you Sports Channel America's exciting NHL coverage.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Wow! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
Welcome back to our Sports Channel America studios in New York. I'm Bob Hoppa. At 10:30, we'll take you out to the Great Western Forum, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Los Angeles Kings, with that series tied up at 2 games apiece. Now we take you back to Chicago Stadium. More Period 2 action.
Game 4 and tonight Game 5 just almost blew around Hedican on the off wing, went to the backhand. Graham picks it up at the red line, moves, takes a look, goes to the off wing, goes to the backhand. Shields the puck, gets a lot on the shot, but just let it go off the end of the stick and off the side of the net. And then it came out to Jocelyn Lemieux, who fired a wrist shot. Hedican, good job of turning and putting the hook into him. It's an advantage to play the offside. It was a left-handed shot going to his right, and he was able to put the hook into it to slow him down somewhat.
Now the draw to the Blues. Down Sutter to Brett Hull at center. Back to Sutter over the line, and he couldn't hang on to it cleanly. It results in an offside call against the Blues. Game 6 will be in the arena in St. Louis on Tuesday night. 7:20 as usual on the radio. And 7 p.m. Yes, 7 o'clock on Sports Channel.
This game is developing into a very, very topsy-turvy, emotional roller coasters. 7 minutes left in a 3-3 game.
And the draw now will be dumped into the Hog zone. Steve Smith goes around the boards. Brent Sutter gave it to the Blues line. Cavallini there. The spinorama move. Cavallini over the Hawk line to Sutter. He set it a shot, and Lowry shot it up off the glass. And then Lemieux able to feed Graham at center. Hold it to the St. Louis line. Cavallini. That is pass stolen. Now Graham. Offside on the play, just barely. It was right in front of Ron Asseltine, and he had nobody in front of him. And he sounds the whistle.
It was a good play by Lemieux to lead Graham. But a poor play in the neutral zone. The Blackhawks not very strong in this neutral zone dump-in attempt. Cavallini, a spinorama, looked like Serge Savard. The Blues break out, and Lowry with a good chance. A good period for the Blues. They've had some good chances, playing better in the second than they did in the first.
.3-3 with 6.5 left in the second period as the Blues dump it in. Belfour out to the corner, didn't get there, but his teammate Russell did and sends it up the boards. Here comes Noonan. Ryan Noonan to the Blues line. Into the corner with it. Barron tied him up there. And now Jeff Brown. Weak clearing upper held in, and then the Mateau centered it. Noonan yanked to the ice. And he was prevented from redirecting that centering pass. Now Rich Sutter for St. Louis. And able to clear it into the Chicago zone. Ryan Marchment on feed for Larmer at center. He gets the line. Larmer tries to center. It hits the leg, and Butcher bangs it ahead to center right. Here's Janney over the Hawk line to Butcher. A slip one wide of the net. And Smith starts Chicago back. Steve Smith works his way to the line. The defense splits. He walks in. And then he couldn't pull the trigger as Hennigan cut across. In behind is Lauer. The wraparound. He scores! Brad Lauer beat Curtis Joseph to the far post. And Lauer scores his first playoff goal to put the Hawks in front. 4-3.
Brad Lauer with playoff experience. 15 of those games of his 16 previous games with the Islanders where he had 5 goals. He scores his 6th career playoff goal and first as a Blackhawk. But what a rush from Steve Smith. Steve Smith carried it from his own zone. Saw the defenseman just part. He looked like Moses. Then tried to make a pass to Lauer. Was flipped at by Joseph. Lauer gloves it, puts it down, juggles momentarily, and then sweeps the backhander in. Joseph couldn't get to the post in time, and Brad Lauer scores on the wraparound.
Scored by number 15, Brad Lauer.
He made a little move behind the net and had Joseph thinking he was going to come out to the goaltender's left, but he skated back to the right, and he just beat Joseph to the far post and muscled it through him.
Garth Butcher was paying attention to Peluso. Didn't even pay attention behind the net, didn't look behind the net. But Steve Smith, with the one defenseman, Cavallini, I believe, diving at him, he was pulled down. And Lauer just looks like he was returning a punt, had difficulty locating the puck, finally did. Then made a quick move to his backhand and tucked it under and in, and the Blackhawks recover the lead. It's a 4-3 Blackhawk lead.
Lauer from Smith at 14:45. And the Hawks are in front 4-3. Cavallini behind the Blues net. Gave it away to Lauer in the corner. Jumbo stepped into him. They muscle one another along the boards, and they battle heavily. Lauer kicked it loose. Now Shanahan against Hudson. Peluso in there after it. Jammed it loose to Smith. And he flipped it in behind the net. Jumbo got a hit from Graham, but he held the puck, and then he was flattened by Lemieux. But here comes Bozan in over the line, gave it right to Chelios, and he got it loose to Graham for Lemieux. In over the line, 2-on-1. Lemieux cuts to the backhand and shoots, and a save by Joseph. Graham the rebound to Lemieux, shooting, and he shot it just wide. That he was knocked out. There's going to be a penalty on Cavallini, and Graham going to make sure Lemieux stays calm. But there now is another gathering on the near side. But it appears the Blackhawks will head to the power play here. 4 minutes left in the second period. 4-3 Hawks. What a spirited game that Jocelyn Lemieux has played right from the first shift he ever had tonight.
All right, so the Chicago Blackhawks have come from behind and scored 2 unanswered goals in period number 2. Of course, we'll keep you posted on all of the action in that game as well. That series tied up at 2 games apiece. The Detroit Red Wings stave off elimination. They come up with a 3-0 victory over the Minnesota North Stars. Detroit goalie Tim Cheveldae with 22 saves. Minnesota 0 for 8 on the power play. Now, remember last year when Minnesota knocked off Chicago in round number 1, it took them 6 games. They'll need 6 games this time as well. At the Pacific Coliseum, talking about trying to stave off elimination, it's the Vancouver Canucks and the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg leads the best-of-7 series 3-1. They're in period number 1, and there is no score. Rick Tabaracci and Kirk McLean are the goaltenders. Meanwhile, at the Great Western Forum, the second end of our doubleheader, the Edmonton Oilers and Los Angeles Kings, will bring you all of the action right here on Sports Channel America after this timeout.
All cars are made with sheets of metal. But one of these sheets is actually a sandwich of steel, resin, and steel used by Lexus to help quiet the cabin of the LS 400. Care to guess which one?
open road, mountain high, morning mist, golden sky. Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be. City streets, desert sun, rolling hills, forest run. Kawasaki, it's where I wanna be. Yeah!
No matter where you wanna be, you can get there on a Kawasaki.
Kawasaki, let the good times roll.
Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs continues live from the Great Western Forum in Inglewood, California. Game 5 of the Smythe Division semifinals. The Los Angeles Kings and the Edmonton Oilers with the series tied 2 games each. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Great Western Forum. The Los Angeles Kings have the series back in their hands. It's become a best-of-3. Home ice advantage to Los Angeles. No advantage to either team as far as injuries are concerned. Larry Robinson, Yari Curry still out of the Los Angeles lineup.
Yes, they are, Jigs, and it would not appear at this time that they'll be ready any earlier than Thursday, which would be Game 7 if it was played. So they've lost both of those players.
They have substituted with a couple of young players, a young forward, a young defenseman. Gives them the advantage age-wise. For the Edmonton Oilers standpoint, they still do not have Anatoly Semenov back in the lineup, nor Craig Simpson. The bruised shoulders appear to be a little more serious than first suspected.
Well, there's some word coming out now that there may be something more serious with the shoulder problems of both of the Edmonton Oilers players. One of the good news things for Edmonton is that they'll get Kevin Lowe back in their lineup. His 159 playoff games. With that number, he's away ahead of all of the defensemen on this team at Edmonton.
May not have the range of motion that he would like to have. You'll recall that he had a shoulder injury, a groin problem as well. They did a scope on his shoulder. He says the strength isn't there, but he is planning to play in this hockey game tonight. The series, as I mentioned, is tied at 2 games each, and the big reason for that has been the improved play of Paul Coffey, the veteran defenseman who is now jumping into the play, scoring goals, but making things happen for Los Angeles.
Well, he is, Jakes, particularly in the specialty departments. You know, he's got 4 goals, and 3 of them are on the power play at even strength. He just doesn't have that many, but no, he's a welcome sight. He has really taken up a lot of the scoring slack that hasn't come from some of the players that they really need on the Los Angeles team.
Yeah, the headlines here in Los Angeles following Game 4 where a little coffee wakes up the Kings. You can't overlook Luc Robitaille and his contribution to the Kings' win either.
Well, exactly that. Luc Robitaille, again, another player that does not have a lot of even strength goals, Jakes, but Robitaille has a power play goal, a shorthanded goal, and right now has 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, 1 behind Coffey.
Big mystery here in Los Angeles is where's Wayne Gretzky? Oh, yes, he is playing, but the goal production hasn't been there. Not in this series, not in the series against Edmonton last year, nor the last 2 games of the playoffs against Vancouver in that series a year ago. So he has gone 12 consecutive playoff games without a goal.
He still is an effective player, but not really as effective as you'd like to see him if you're a member of the Los Angeles Kings hockey team or the fans watching them. There's some things that he may try tonight to get away from the shadow that's been cast over him, particularly here in this building where they have 3 different players that cover Wayne Gretzky. They have Tikkanen, of course. He has done that for some time now. Buchberger has done a very good job on him, and Mark Lamb, another player that they use to cover Gretzky.
And the 2 coaches have been at one another through the media this week as to what should be done. Tom Webster would like to see a new rule in the NHL to protect the scorers. The Edmonton people just laugh about that and say, hey, you know, you guys used to do that when Gretzky was playing for us. You want to change the rules now. So through the media, they've had quite a battle of words here. It's been interesting reading, but now it's going to come right down to what happens here here on the ice over the next 60 minutes.
Well, it should be a pretty good series from here on, 2 out of 3, if you will. But of course, Bernie Nichols on the side of the Edmonton Oilers, he's come back here to Edmonton and has haunted them somewhat. Jakes, he leads that team in scoring and has done a wonderful job. That line of his has been really providing most of the offense.
Bernie is making his words when he was traded from the Kings to New York stick now. He said this is a bad trade for Los Angeles, one they'll regret. Didn't happen when he played for the Rangers, but now in that Edmonton uniform, yeah, LA just hasn't been able to contain him. So we'll see whether they are able to contain Nichols, if Edmonton's able to contain Gretzky. Opening face-off coming up from the Great Western Forum in just a few moments.
The 1992 Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel America are brought to you by Molson, a part of the NHL tradition since 1957. Molson is Canadian beer. By Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. And by Air Canada. It's a welcome departure.
They must have heard the good news. Molson's 35-year history with the NHL is going to continue. Molson, bringing you Sports Channel America's exciting NHL coverage.
It's all been thought out. All engineered. Precisely where you want it. So where would you put a cockpit like this? In a rocket, of course. Introducing Achieva by Oldsmobile. Never has so much thought gone into this much fun. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Some of you lucky people are getting new calling cards from AT&T. There's just one little hitch. That easy-to-remember card number you've always had? It's history. But don't worry, you can still have a card with your home number plus 4 digits. The new phone card from Sprint. Call now, and it even comes with 100 minutes free. So, which phone company's calling card would you rather have now?
Hey, Sleeping Beauty, wake up. Is Prince Charming coming? No, but the new boss may be. Better revive with Vivarin. Vivarin? It wakes me up and it's safe as coffee.
Great proposal, Stacy. Really alert.
Revive with Vivarin.
Today's opening game face-off brought to you by Molson, the official beer of Sports Channel America's exciting NHL coverage, a part of the NHL tradition since 1957.
Welcome back to our New York studios. For the second straight year, Minnesota trying to pull a first-round upset. Tonight they had a chance to do it at the Joe Louis Arena. We take a look at the highlights from tonight's action. It's the Red Wings and North Stars. First period, Wings applying the pressure, but John Casey, he's up to the task. Look at the save here on Steve Yzerman. A pretty save, but Yzerman will get his revenge a little bit later on. In a shorthanded situation, Yzerman beats Casey. The top corner, a shorthanded goal, 1-0 Wings. Then play will get a little bit chippy here with a flagrant spear for the man who scored the goal. Watch Steve Yzerman right to the groin of David Shaw. That's a 2-minute penalty. Minnesota gets their revenge in the second period, though, as Chris Dahlquist levels Yzerman with a vicious elbow to the head. Yzerman got up. He was okay. Third period, Minnesota gets a chance. Mike Modano turns on the Jets. Gorgeous move, but Brad McCrimmon knocks the puck away, and Modano can't get the shot off. Moments later, the Wings get some insurance. Rookie Martin Lapointe with a great outlet pass to rookie Mike Sillinger, who blows it by Casey. 2-0 Wings. And they would add a Jimmy Carson empty net goal. They stave off elimination. The final score, 3-0. Meanwhile, in Chicago at Chicago Stadium, it's the Blackhawks and the Blues. Steve Larmer with a pair of goals. And this game now at the end of 2 periods of play with Chicago in front by a score of 4-3. Meanwhile, at the Pacific Coliseum, Winnipeg and Vancouver are scoreless. And right now, these two teams scoreless in period number 1 as Winnipeg is trying to wrap up this series as well. And you talk about jet lag for the Vancouver Canucks. They have played 240 minutes of hockey, and the Winnipeg Jets, have held the lead for 50% of the play. Winnipeg, not one of the high-scoring teams during the regular season. They like to get a lead, a 1 or 2 goal lead, and they just play very conservative defensive hockey. That's what they've done in this series. That's why they lead Vancouver 3-1, and that's where they stand in that series. Well, now let's take a look at the 1992 scoring leaders, brought to you by Air Canada. This heading into tonight's play. Mario Lemieux of the Pittsburgh Penguins with 4 goals and 5 assists. He has 9 points. He's tied with Bernie Nichols of the Edmonton Oilers and Joe Murphy. You'll see both of those men in action. That will be coming up in just a matter of minutes. Adam Oates has an overtime goal and a game-winning goal as well. He has 8 points, and Mike Ridley of Washington with 8. Well, we're all set to go at the Great Western Forum. We're going to join the anthem and the Molson face-off. Let's join Jiggs McDonald and Eddie Westfall after the national anthems.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
A capacity crowd of 16,005 settle back into the seats at the Great Western Forum for this Game 5 of the series between the Oilers and the Kings.
Bill Ranford has played all but 20 minutes of this series so far. His 5th appearance, 5th time in his career. He's been in the playoffs, 2 with Boston.
And there's Kelly Rudy in the nets for the Los Angeles Kings. Has played every minute of this series. 3.78 goals against average. 2 wins, 2 losses, 15 goals against. Tonight's referee is Bill McCreary, who's been in the National Hockey League since 1984. Kevin Collins, a veteran linesman, and Brian Murphy, who's been around since '88, will work the lines. And now Molson's brings you tonight's opening face-off. Wayne Gretzky is in the middle for Los Angeles. He gets set to take the draw against Mark Lamb of Edmonton. The Kings to the right in the white uniforms, and from overhead we watch Bill McCreary put the puck in play, and immediately it's cleared back to the Edmonton line. Artie McSorley trying to rub out Richardson, and the Kings end up dumping it in. Bradford left it back in the net. The Oilers take a look up ice, go to the right side for Richardson. Bank one off the boards, take it in, gets it into the center ice area. Lamb is pulled off balance by McSorley. Play allowed to continue. That's Waters for LA. Break wide. McSorley went to that side and couldn't pick up the puck. Here's Lamb. With Waters backing in. Lamb's shot is up high and wide of the Los Angeles goal. Luke Richardson is bumped on the boards by Thomas Sandstrom. Something that LA is hoping to see more of. He's got to be more physical. I don't think he's totally healthy though, Ed.
No, he's not, Jiggs, and there's a couple other players in this lineup that are playing hurt, which generally is the case in playoff hockey. Kevin Lowe.
Linesmen had their arms up for icing, and neither one called it. And here the Kings trying to set something up. Robitaille was in the slot and couldn't handle it. Charlie Huddy fires it off the boards into the Edmonton end of the ice, and Bernie Nichols tied for the lead in overall scoring in the playoffs. Out there with Murphy and Peter Klima. But cleared back into the Edmonton zone, handled by Ranford, who's dropped it off now. We're 1 minute and 15 seconds into the opening period. Dave Manson sets up back in the Edmonton net. Taylor, Robitaille, and Granado. Up front for Los Angeles. Robitaille just broke up the Edmonton rush, but now Mickles bangs one off the boards, and Klima takes over. Lost it in the skates of linesman Kevin Collins, and Huddy gave it to Dave Taylor, who's dumped it in, and the Kings go for a player change.
Jiggs, one of the areas that the Los Angeles Kings want to improve in is their forechecking. They want to put a lot of pressure on early in the hockey game on Edmonton in Edmonton's end.
Now Coffey has just turned it over right in front. Rudy, a sprawling save off Peter Klima. Fans chanting Rudy as the Kings come down 2-on-1. There's the pass, tipped back, and Karjalainen couldn't get it to a teammate. Paul Coffey recovers at center ice. Coffey on the fly, look at him move up that right side to the backhand, and it hit the outside of the net. Now Coffey puts it in the slot, only to have it cleared away. And Buchberger steps over center ice. Buchberger, one man back, and he is beaten by that man, the defenseman, Rob Blake. That ends up behind the Los Angeles goal. Kings get to it. Cleared up and out of the zone by Coffey. It's going to go the length of the ice. And an icing call here against Los Angeles. We're 2.5 minutes into the opening period. Good tempo at the beginning of this. Game 5, and there is no score.
When you're flying north, fly with a leader. Fly the airline that leads the way to Canada. With more flights to more cities. With more service and more hospitality. Even more legroom. On the only business class to more of Canada. Air Canada. It's a welcome departure.
First major mistake of the hockey game so far made by the Los Angeles Kings, and Kelly Rudy bails them out. There's the shot by Klima. Good stop, Kelly Rudy. Klima from about 12 feet.
That's the only shot on goal by either team thus far. Face-off coming in the circle to the left of the Los Angeles goal as you look at 31-year-old Kelly Rudy. His 63rd Stanley Cup playoff game tonight. Greg McCabe, he's been a real thorn in the side of these LA Kings, playing at center ice on this line. Buchberger to the right. Atlantic on the left side. The Kings have cleared the zone. They had a breaking pass set up. That's recovered inside the line, but offside. As Kadowski was ahead of the play, didn't get back out of the zone in time. A couple of big linesmen assigned to this game tonight. I wonder if they're anticipating trouble with Kevin Collins and Ryan Murphy out there together.
Well, Tommy Webster's expecting just about anything. Of course, he could eat just about anything wearing that tie and spill it on there, and it wouldn't matter, would it?
That's a nice tie. Don't you like that? That's a bold fashion statement, Tom.
You have to have certain glasses on, I suppose, to look at that.
Oh, just looking at the sun for a few days here will.
Well, I'll tell you, has it been sunny here? It's hot. Broke a record here yesterday.
You don't have to tell me, AT. Boy, it's nice to be back. I didn't think we'd know how to do this anymore, but here we are.
A long time between games.
The lost have been found. Yeah, this home game only is not a bad idea, especially if we're working in LA. But then again, the Oilers bang one off the boards, out through center, it lands and bounces down into the Los Angeles zone. Chased down by Jay Miller, who plays it around to the right wing boards. It came right out in front and is shot wide as Edmonton gets another golden opportunity. The LA Kings tip it to center off McIntyre. Vincent Dafoe shoots it right back in again for the Edmonton Oilers. We're 3.5 minutes into the opening period. No score in Los Angeles. Ottawa, long pass into the center ice zone. Misses everybody, and the puck is loose back to the Oilers' goal. Bill Ranford leads it there. Gretzky, McSorley, and Sandstrom together now for Los Angeles. And the Edmonton Oilers are going to be called for having iced the puck.
Interesting to see whether Wayne Gretzky can get out from underneath the shadow, the blanket that's been cast over him. One of the best ways to do that, I always figured, having had that job as being the Lamont Cranston for particularly the Boston Bruins, was that, you know, you go over and skate beside and stand next to another one of the Edmonton Oilers. Now you've got two of them tied up, so that leaves them a man short. I'm just wondering whether or not. I was talking to a couple of the coaches of Los Angeles, and I offered that as a suggestion, wondering if Wayne ever thought of, rather than just parking himself somewhere, letting a shadow stand next to him, go stand next to a Edmonton Oilers.
You campaigning for a coaching job? You're out of the management business now?
No, I'm not campaigning for anything. I just think that, well, listen, that's the kind of tactics I used to have to use, and I know what might work against them.
Well, Gretzky is on the ice right now. Sandstrom to the right and McSorley on the left side. So Sandstrom has taken Yari Perry's spot on this line again tonight as we watch Peter Klima look at the way he's manhandled here. He's able to get away from Paul Coffey, and they centered one but couldn't get it on net. And the Edmonton Oilers are forced back into their own zone. Or McIver, the first man back. It was McIver who had the opportunity at the other end of the ice, and his cross-ice pass nearly picked off by Gretzky. Bernie Nichols dropped it into the skates of McSorley. And Charlie Huddy clears it off the boards and out to center ice. Backboard is Manson, a long shot. Rudy stops that. He's had difficulty with Manson's long shots, but not this time. That was just a dump in, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's a Tikkanen now. He's all over Gretzky, staying right next to him.
Sandstrom blows in off the right side. McSorley back in front of the net. The pass to Gretzky didn't get through in time, and back for it is Charlie Huddy. Nichols moving up. Huddy plays it to the open side. There's Tikkanen. Tikkanen to Richardson. His pass into the middle to Nichols. Goes to the left side. Big opportunity, and a pad save by Kelly Rudy off Greg Hoggood. Hoggood, the defenseman, jumping up into the play. Big hit at the line. Spun Dave Taylor off balance. The Kings moving. A slap shot by Waters is turned aside. Waters jabs it away from McIver. Ends up in the corner and the skates of Kevin Lowe. Robitaille leans into him. Then Robitaille and Danfus get tied up. Sprawling save by Ranford, and the rebound is knocked wide of the net. Tony Granato puts it back in the goal. Robitaille is knocked down. There's going to be a penalty against Edmonton. Robitaille back in his skates, didn't get to the puck. As the Oilers do, the first penalty signaled by referee McQuarrie will go against the Edmonton Oilers. A cross-checking penalty. LA power play coming up.
They must have heard the good news. Molson's 35-year history with the NHL is going to continue. Molson, bringing you Sports Channel America's exciting NHL coverage.
Luke Richardson's in the penalty box. First penalty of the hockey game. He's one of the players I was talking about earlier, Jakes, that's playing injured. He's got a groin problem, knowing that, because down around the dressing room this morning before the skate, he was getting it treated. But here, good scoring opportunities. The best one for LA. There's Tony Granato. What a stretching save by Ranford. And Granato hammers his rebound when he picks up the puck. Boom, there was the cross-check by Luke Richardson, just to the right of Ranford. So the power play of the Edmonton Oilers goes to work. They're not doing very well in that department, or is the Edmonton Oilers penalty killers that good?
Well, we'll find out here. The LA power play, 12th of the 16 teams that went to the postseason play. 5 power play goals on 27 opportunities in this series. They scored 3 of them here, 2 in Edmonton. To get the 3, they had 17 chances in the first 2 games. Coffey sets up at the left point. Huddy is on the right side. Tony Granato feeds it out of the corner. Right back to Coffey. Over to Huddy. Lets it go. Just wide of the net. Gretzky jabs it back toward the line. Can't get it to Coffey in time. And out comes Bookberger. He's over center ice as McTavish was taken down back of the play. And the Edmonton forward is the only man inside the Los Angeles zone. Charlie Huddy. Set it back. Coffey carries it through center ice. 30-year-old Paul Coffey slaps it around the boards behind Ranford. It goes to the far corner. Robitaille couldn't pick it up. Then he took Tikkanen down, or low rather, and there's going to be a penalty on Luke Robitaille. So much for the Los Angeles power play.
Without a shot on goal, Robitaille, he knew. He's mad.
At Los Angeles, there is no score as we pause for a regional break. You're watching the 1992 Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel America.
One of the true signs of a real man is getting the proper response. Pep! From my best friend, perfect obedience. For my beautiful lawn, the total reliability of my trustworthy snapper. And with the fairer sex. Carol, darling, do you suppose we... No, didn't think so. Snapper, anything less just won't cut it.
See these Snapper dealers: Harshberger Lawn and Garden, John's Lawn and Garden, and Litton's Power Equipment.
Get a good look at Luke Robitaille sitting in the penalty box. He knew he was going to get the penalty. This would probably not be a penalty at even strength, but you see him back up and shove the feet out from underneath. Kevin Lowe, a referee with his arm in the air. Bill McCreary. Teams will now play 4 skaters apiece.
Through the 50 seconds of Richardson's cross-checking penalty, the Kings did not have a shot on Bill Ranford. Gretzky, Sandstrom, Coffey, and Blake out on the ice for the Kings. Lima and Nichols up front for the Edmonton Oilers. Or McIver, one of the 2 defensemen, Manson the other. McIver has just played it through center. Now Tikkanen comes out. He'll take Nichols' spot. That's it. 4 skaters aside. Coffey plays it around the boards for Gretzky. To Paul Coffey. Off his stick, right to McIver. Gets it back in the net. Klima was there, but it's knocked away by Blake. Sandstrom didn't get to it in time. Now he's knocked it loose. It's brought down the right side by Coffey. 2-on-1 with Gretzky, but the Oilers get back and break up the pass. The Kings player was taken down at the blue line. That's the reason the fans are yelling and screaming. Sandstrom went down heavily, and Manson's shot just went wide of Kelly Rudy. Paul Coffey trying to move it out of the zone. It was in and out of the referee's gates and held out by Klima. Moves in on Rudy, taken down, and there'll be a penalty against Rob Blake.
Had to call it in the act of shooting. A scoring attempt taken away from the Edmonton Oilers. Bad penalties now for the Los Angeles Kings. Tommy Webster recognizing it in desperation. Los Angeles so anxious to get up the ice, they're not protecting their own end of the ice. There's the play on Klima as Rob Blake grabs him, throws him down, so Edmonton will now have a man advantage.
And in 14 seconds, the Oilers will have a 2-man advantage. As Blake joins Robitaille in the penalty box, barring any further penalties, Edmonton will have a 2-man advantage once Richardson's penalty expires. Los Angeles with Waters and Huddy on defense. McIntyre is the forward. Bernie Nichols steps in to take the faceoff for the Oilers. Won by McIntyre. Huddy with a man right on him gets away from Murphy, but the Oilers recover the puck. Nichols sets up Manson. Dave Manson, high slot, played it off Nichols. It goes back in the net, and Huddy slams it around the boards. Up to the line where Sandstrom has it, and now Edmonton with a 2-man advantage. They have had 2 shots on goal thus far in the game. There is no score if you've just joined us.
Of course, Edmonton with 9 power play goals in the series, Jigs. They're ranked first in the playoffs in power play department.
And Joe Murphy is checked at the line. Gretzky knocked it away. Gretzky with Waters and Huddy killing it off. Murphy up front for Edmonton along with Domfus and Nichols. Vikinen and Manson at the points. That's Manson over on the left side. Into Bernie Nichols, being watched by Gretzky and Huddy. Nichols makes the pass. Domfus couldn't get it through. Nice play by Waters as he stepped in front of him. Tikkanen held it at the line. Now it's fed across. Domfus to Manson. Long shot. Rudy the save. They bang the rebound over the crossbar. Big chance goes astray. 1 man is back for LA. Still no score in the game. The Oilers move it back toward the line. Tikkanen held it in with a feed to Murphy. Joe Murphy back to Tikkanen. Down to Murphy on the right side. To Tikkanen off the stick of Robitaille, but they held it and shot one wide. Murphy with it here. Centers broken up by the Kings. Gretzky volleyballed it back to Rudy, and he'll hold on.
What a smart play, Jigs, by Wayne Gretzky. He may not be scoring a lot of goals for his Los Angeles Kings. He was without a stick. One of the players up front, or I should say on defense, had broken his stick. He gave his stick up, and he just volleyballed. Good description. The hot potato, and knocked it to Kelly Rudy. Here's a scoring chance over the crossbar by Domfus. In close. And then, of course, from there, Gretzky was able to take a bouncing puck. There, watch this. Up in the air, 1, 2, flip. There, Kelly, hang on to it. You can close your hand on it, I can't.
Fans just now seeing that on the entertainment wall here at the Great Western Forum and applauding the presence of mind of number 99. He's played 999 regular season games, to say nothing of Stanley Cup playoff action. That doesn't count as a shot on goal. Wayne is averaging only 1 1/4 shots on goal per game in this series. The Oilers have had 2 shots with the man advantage and started as a 2-man advantage for 50 seconds. And now 20 seconds remaining in Rob Blake's penalty. Here come the Oilers one more time. Little trouble getting through center ice. They got it over the line. Mellenby got checked. Here's Klima off right wing. Right to center. That hit McSorley. And the Kings come up the left side. Paul Coffey has cleared the zone. 4 seconds remaining in the Los Angeles penalty. Blake is sprung. Crowd reacts with the fact that the Kings have killed off the Edmonton power play. And at one time it was a 2-man advantage. Got Mellenby off the end boards. Turns. Found some help moving in. Now 3 Oilers get tangled up, and the Kings start out 4 of them moving through center ice, but they mishandle the puck. board, they gain control. McSorley with a long, low shot that's handled and then covered by Bill Ranford and held for a face-off. 9.5 minutes remaining in this period. We'll pause now for this message. When we come back, we'll get an update from Bob Papa.
Things are different. The new Pontiac Grand Am Sports Sedan proves it. Things are better because this Grand Am offers you the power and performance of a big V6. You'd pay thousands more for a V6 on a Camry, and it's not even an option on an Accord. In fact, Consumers Digest named Grand Am a Best Buy. Pontiac Grand Am, a new kind of driving excitement.
At the Pacific Coliseum, the Vancouver Canucks get on the board. Sergio Momesso to Igor Larionov, who gives it to Pavel Bure for the backhand goal at 17:30 of the first period. Canucks in front 1-0. Back to Jiggs and Eddie.
So we're up to date there, and here there is no score between the Kings and the Oilers. The winner of this series will play the winner of that series between the Vancouver Canucks and the Winnipeg Jets. One that has attracted a lot of attention, the way Winnipeg played at home, especially, Ed.
Yes, it has.
Here's Blake with a shot from the point that was turned aside by Ranford.
I'm surprised, too, Diggs, when you think that Winnipeg all season long, particularly the last half of the season, were playing playoff hockey. They didn't have to change their game at all.
No, they didn't. And the two players that they put into their lineup late in the season really complemented the rest of the squad. We've got a jam up in front of the Los Angeles bench. Some pushing. Renato being moved out of the area by the linesman after he and Lamb had tussled a little. I think of Davidoff in particular, the player that was with the unified team at the 1992 Winter Olympic Games, so the way he has stepped into that Winnipeg team and made an impression immediately.
He has, and how about Tabaracci in goal? That was somewhat of a surprise with Essensa having a pretty good season, but Tabaracci got the nod for the playoffs, and he has not let them down.
Saw Tony Granato going back to the LA players bench. The sisters done a nice job for the U.S. women's national hockey team at the World Championships. And Vancouver leading 1-0, as Bob told you in our update. And here, there is no score between the Oilers and the Kings. This is Game 5. The series tied here at 2 apiece. Richardson playing the puck across to Kevin Lowe. Martin Gelinas was removed from the Edmonton lineup tonight in order to get Lowe in. So rather than take a defenseman out, they dropped it forward. Feeling being, no doubt, that if Kevin couldn't play for the entire game, better to have 6 defensemen who could. Jim Waters with a feed up ahead. Miller tips it into the Edmonton zone. Richardson back, chased behind the net by John McIntyre of Los Angeles. Then he's met solidly by Kadelsky, who's centered and tipped away from Miller. Jim Waters recovers back inside the zone. He's given it to Brent Thompson. Thompson is replacing Larry Robinson. Got it to Miller, then cross ice to Kadelsky, and he couldn't get it to him. Lowe to Richardson, back to Kevin Lowe. Captain of the Oilers comes to center ice. Lowe shoots it in, well wide of Kelly Rudy. Kings play it to the right side. Waters is bumped on the play, and it's cleared out of the zone. The Kings come to center with a cross-ice pass that's tipped away from Donnelly and ends up inside the Edmonton players' bench.
So far in this hockey game, Jiggs, the Los Angeles Kings just can't seem to get things organized in the offensive zone. One of the players with Jari Kurri out of the lineup. Karjalainen in, played the Game 4 in Edmonton, got an assist in that hockey game.
There's my new neighbor, Ted Green, moved down to the lower level. He's on the ground floor over at the hotel that we stay in. Said he would have no part of the 15th floor where he normally stays because of the way the earth moved here the other night.
Yeah, I ended up getting his room and he ended up getting mine. Shows you where I stand.
Daddy said he had no part of being up on the 15th floor. How is it up there? Nothing's
rarefied air.
Trembler here on this past Wednesday night. Of course, you know what's happened in Northern California over the past 24 hours. Following the news, the Oilers moving up 3-on-1. Domfus with a shot, grabbed and held by Rudy. He stuck the stick into Joe Murphy as he went back of the net. Nothing too serious there. We'll pause for a message. When we come back, Bob will have another update for us.
They must have heard the good news. Molson's 35-year history with the NHL is going to continue. Molson, bringing you Sports Channel America's exciting NHL coverage.
In Vancouver, Pavel Bure with the Canucks' first goal breaks his stick, and Jim Sadlak swipes it home with just 3 seconds to go in the first period. 2-0 Vancouver after one. Meanwhile, in Chicago, early third period, Chris Chelios takes the puck, and he just whips it past Curtis Joseph, his third goal of the playoffs. Blackhawks in front, 5-3.
Wow, the Canucks fired up at home. That could be a big boost for them. If they win tonight's game, they have to win, of course, to stay alive. But to go back into Winnipeg and force things there, that Winnipeg team may just tighten up a little bit.
Well, they've had it their own way. It's nice to play in the playoffs when things are going your way, but then you have to remember that they made them go their way. 3 of the 4 games.
This is game 5 of the series between the Kings and the Oilers. There is no score in Los Angeles. Joe Murphy with a long breaking pass, and Domfus brings it across the line for Edmonton. Can't get through that traffic. Following the play over to the far side was Brian Glynn, and it's right out in front, and Lamb couldn't jam it by Rudy. Kings come up 4-on-3. Move down the left side. This is Millen with a feed to Blake, who was coming later, Perry-Lanen rather. Now Donnelly with a shot that hit the outside of the net. Loose puck, Brian Glynn over to knock it away. Perry-Lanen had the stick taken out of his hand. Taloa covering the left point, moved it on in deeper. Perry-Lanen pushed off the puck, and the Oilers break the zone. Mark Lamb with a pass to Murphy. Back to Lamb on the left side. Lamb trying to dance in around Blake, could not, and Donnelly recovers the puck for the Kings. Mike Donnelly, who has good speed, comes to center. It's right at the end of a shift, so he dumps it in, and the Kings continue to change. Sandstrom has come out with McSorley and Gretzky now. Taken in into the middle, shoots from the blue line, hits the pipe to the right of Kelly Rudy. Manson off the left point, dumped it in wide, and Wayne Gretzky ends up with the puck. 3 Oilers hustle back. Gretzky leads the attack through center ice. Across the Edmonton line, went to drop it for Coffey. Back to Gretzky, centers, and it's shot wide. Off Sandstrom's stick on that move. Marty McSorley gets tangled up in the far corner, and Tikkanen plays the puck outside the zone. Here's Honey, lost it. Klima over the line with Coffey back. Klima shoots, Rudy the save. Coffey slaps it off the boards. McSorley ends up in the corner. Oilers end up with the puck, but Nichols couldn't center it. This is Johnny Honey. Up the right side for Thomas Sandstrom. 3-on-3 at the line. Sandstrom trying to drive around Manson, got knocked down. McSorley goes for the puck, centered, and it's shot wide. Tony Granato got that one away. Brent Thompson puts it back in the Edmonton goal. The Oilers trying to come up the right wing boards. Able to clear it out of the zone and nothing further. Thomas Sandstrom went back for it. Sandstrom fed Granato around one man. 3 Oilers back. Mellenby mugs his man. No penalty. Granato gets up trying to find the referee. 16,000 others are assisting him here at the Great Western Forum. This is Scott Mellenby. Sidestep Taylor's check. Mellenby dumps it in. Rudy out of the net, slaps it up along the boards. It hits Scott Mellenby, who centers. Held in. Good. Couldn't get it to the slot in time for the Oilers to get anything going. And now Mellenby's shot is tipped and well up into the seats. 6 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in this opening period. More scuffling. David Maley and Thompson. And now Lowe and Thompson, and anybody in an Edmonton uniform. Thompson when looking for Mellenby. Brent Thompson is only 21 years of age, Ed, but he has a feistiness about him, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, and he's a pretty strong guy, Jiggs, and he looks after himself pretty well. Linesmen are trying to break things up. Richardson was having a lot to say to Thompson. There's a LA attempt to gain control down deep in the Edmonton end of the ice. It was part of that play, just off camera, that we saw. It was Granato got decked. There you see Sandstrom trying to get by.
There is a penalty on the play. David Maley has gone to the penalty box at the 13:45 mark of this opening period.
I think they were calling it a slashing penalty with a break in the action here. No score in the first period. We'll be right back.
No better way to face the day.
The morning belongs to Skin Bracer Aftershave. Its cool, brisk tingle really gets you going. And what a great scent. Skin Bracer.
No better way to face the day. Find it.
bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Whoa! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
Each team has had 7 shots on goal in the game, and now Los Angeles on the power play for the second time tonight. Face off on the edge of the circle to the left of Kelly Rudy as you look a part of this capacity crowd. The only Los Angeles sports team in the history of the City of Angels to have sold out an entire regular season. Every Kings game sold out. I thought the Lakers had done it, but not so. Rudy just made a big stop on a long shot. McTavish battling for the puck, could not get to it. And the Kings end up with it. Paul Coffey lugs it out of the zone. Hammers it in from center ice. It bounced back to the net. Ranford leaving it there. The defenseman got crossed up a little. Now Coffey pinches in off the left wing boards. Puts it back in the net for Robitaille. Around to Gretzky. Gretzky back to Robitaille. Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky faked once. Gave it to Robitaille. Got chased back in the net. Centered. Here's Gretzky with a drive. And that ricochets all the way out into the center ice area.
A shot you've got to hit the net with. Gretzky trying to put a little extra on it. That's the pressure of not having scored in 12 consecutive playoff games. Trying to get that one, get away from it all.
Now they're across the line again. Robitaille dishes it back to Rob Blake. Across to Coffey. Coffey looks at Blake. Held onto it, then fed Gretzky. Gretzky trying to pull somebody toward him. Gave it to Coffey, and his shot was tipped wide. Robitaille sets up Granato back of the net. Round out to Gretzky. Gretzky to Granato. It bounces on him. Granato feeds it back to Gretzky. Tight on the left wing boards. To the point for Coffey, and his shot doesn't get through. Robitaille dished it off. Loose in front, and Granato gets checked. Here's Paul Coffey centering one intended for Robitaille, and it bounces over the glass into the seats.
Pretty good action, good motion by the power play of the Los Angeles Kings, but still nothing. A couple of the shots that were taken were stopped by defensemen or penalty-killing forwards up high. Luc Robitaille. Gretzky at one point skated by a puck. He was trying to get in deep, thinking the puck was going to come off the side of the net, down behind it. He skated by. The puck actually stayed out in front. Good scoring opportunity. 37 seconds remaining in the penalty to Mealy.
That's Ron Lowe on the headset at the Edmonton bench, one of the assistant coaches. Wayne Gretzky has stayed out. 37 seconds, all that's left of this Los Angeles power play. Gretzky joined now by Corey Millen and Thomas Sandstrom. Coffey on the right point, Huddy on the left. The Kings get the draw as Sandstrom fed it to Coffey. While Coffey fires through a screen and wide. Loose at the side of the net and cleared now by Lowe. Gretzky gets tangled up. Ian Godfrey on a collision, and the puck went to Richardson, who slammed it out of the zone and down the ice. 20 seconds left in Bailey's slashing penalty. Only one shot on goal for Los Angeles with this man advantage. Gretzky has the puck at center. Sends Sandstrom across the line. Hansen trying to knock it away. Knocks Sandstrom down. McIver comes up with the puck. Or McIver for Edmonton. To Craig McTavish. Has Bookberger with him here on the right side. McTavish pulling to the left. Dumps it in, and the penalty time has expired. Buckberger from back of the net. Got it out in front. McTavish is knocked down. Buckberger with it again. Buckberger gets checked, and the puck loose at center ice. McIver shoots it right back in again. Battles around to the right side for Bob Kadowski. Kadowski out here now with Jay Miller. And Millen, this is Corey Millen, ran into his own teammate. Miller. Alawa up with it. Alawa's at the line with a feed to the left side. Kadowski has to chase it. Does. Recovers the puck. Now it's being called on an offside. They came right out in front of an empty net. Miller tucked it in. Fans reacting to that, but there is still no score in this game.
Things are different. The new Pontiac Grand Am GT proves it. Things are better because no import at its price can match the power of its 16-valve engine and the control of its standard anti-lock brakes. Not Accord, not Camry, no one. In fact, Consumers Digest named Grand Am a Best Buy. Pontiac Grand Am, a new kind of driving excitement.